knew me as a leader, my first time leadership role, I was a terrible leader. And I will fully own it. And it was because I wanted to be the person who knew exactly and would tell people exactly, this is what we need to do. This is how we're going to do it. And was overly direct, but not authentic. And that authenticity is the key word, is that even when leading through change or adversity is being vulnerable and allowing people to understand that like you can be concerned. So when you bring up the pandemic, talking to my team, I was like, yes, we've never been through this before. This is new for all of us. But in my experience, here are the things that I believe that we should do, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to communicate about the why we're going to make these changes, why I believe that these are the right changes. And then please challenge me if you have a different thought process and you want to take a different direction. And then let's just align to it, whether we agree or disagree. Let's disagree and commit and move forward. And then let's pivot if it's not the right move. And so, leading a large organization through was a change that you had to make so rapidly. Like in this experience and what we're doing with now, like we could see some of the changes coming. In the pandemic, we had to pivot in a day. And we had to say, we're going to change. We're going to move from in office and remote to fully remote. We're going to have to change our communication styles. And guess what? Conga got acquired during all of that. And so we changed leadership. And what we did was we just as a team came together and said, we're going to create an environment where everybody has a voice. It's really flat, but we're going to trust each other. But we really embodied, the 5 dysfunctions, which is disagree, commit, move on, and then pivot quickly.
It's funny. I hadn't considered it until you said it so succinctly. But yeah, the pandemic, it was like clear to everybody that the world was different, like right away, from customers, team members, your significant others, your family, everything changed overnight. In this moment in time, like we know things are different, especially in like tech sales and tech go to market. But like one of the stats that JP was looking at was 58% of sales reps out there behind quota right now. And like it just feels like that it's coming on slower. And it's not as pronounced, and sometimes people like aren't convinced that it's going to be lasting. I'm curious out there, like how are you thinking about driving that urgency and getting that like, hey, you can't do things the same when it's not so apparent to everybody that things are different.
Well, but I think that if you empower your team in good times and in challenging times, it's not different. It's just different messaging. When people are in hyper growth mode, the messaging is you're in high growth. This is what you need to do. You need to innovate your processes because you're expanding. When you're retracting or the economy is retracting, it's how do you do more with less? But then also how do you scale for the future? Because we're going to come out of this in 12 to 18 months and you need to be poised and ready. And the companies that are going to excel and are going to expand in this are going to reduce spend in critical areas and in areas that are not revenue producing, that are not going to drive or poise them for the success as we come out of this. And so how do you switch your mindset to hyper growth, to retraction? And so from a team perspective, is don't be afraid. Still sell with gusto, still sell with that energy. It's just sell with empathy. So, companies that are retracting right now, they've just lost colleagues, that they've enjoyed to work with. Those aren't easy decisions, but here's a way that you can make some critical decisions for your company that you have to right now so you can continue to survive and then expand and grow and thrive. And here's the way I can help. So it's just changing the approach, changing the thought process, but always remembering it, like what's in it for them. How is it going to help them as an individual, help to support those colleagues that they respect so that they don't have to have more attrition.